Hello?
Okay, guys, don't forget. Oh, sorry. Don't forget to write your name in the chat for attendance. Just wait one more minute and then we'll get started. Please don't forget to write your name in the chat for attendance. All right, we're going to pick right back up where we started. We're going to discuss the literary terms, and then we're going to write them. I'll put the Word document up as we discuss. Yes, Reem. Okay. Okay, so we talked about visualize and how it's to make a picture in your mind using what you've read of the characters, the setting, and the events. Point of view. Point of view. We know that the point of view is how the author feels or thinks. The point of view that we're talking about today is the narrator's point of view. Does anybody remember what the narrator is? Who is the narrator? Raise your hand if you remember the narrator. Reem, who is the narrator?
The narrator is the one who tells the story.
That's exactly right. The narrator is the person who is telling the story, okay? Oh, that's correct. Thank you, dear. All right, so the narrator is the person that is telling the story, okay? So if the person who is telling the story uses words like I, me, or my, or mine, it means that the person is a character in the story. So they are talking about the story from what we call first person. So first person means that the person is a character in the story. The one who is telling the story is the first person narrator, okay? So that means that they are in the story. They are a character. That's why they use the words like I, me, or my when they speak, because they're talking about themselves. All right, next we have realistic fiction. We've taken realistic fiction before. Let's see. Who can tell me what realistic fiction is? I need hands of people that I have not heard from today. I see the same hands participating all the time. I want to see people who are not raising their hand become involved and participate. Remember, there are participation grades. So you have to participate and pay attention. All right, Farida, tell us, what is realistic fiction?
It's a made-up story, and it's including realistic characters, events, and settings.
Okay, so
and it has dialogue.
Okay, it's a made-up story that could happen in real life, but it didn't happen in real life. It has characters like people we see every day, places that we could go to every day, and events that normally happen in our daily lives. So it is realistic in the fact that it is like real life, but the story is made up. It did not actually happen. Okay? All right.
Yes.
Thank you, Farida.
You're welcome.
All right. So this is realistic fiction. Oops, sorry. Let's go back. Flashback. Flashback. This is the first time that we've taken flashback. Remember when the boy was in the car driving and he was in the middle of the storm and the storm became difficult for him to drive? So he pulled over to the side of the road to wait for the storm to let up. When he did that, he remembered when the storm happened and he was 9 years old. This is a flashback. When the story goes back into the past and tells about something that happened before. We call this flashback, meaning that the author will take the reader back to an event that happened before in the past. Okay, this is called a flashback, and that's what happened when the boy pulled over in the car and started to remember what happened during Hurricane Katrina. Okay, so flashback. All right. Next, we have context clues. We've taken context clues before. What do we use context clues for? So many hands up. I hope these hands are up for context clues. They were up before I asked the question. So if you don't know context clues, please put your hand down. All right, context clues. I want to hear voices I have not heard. Adito,
Yes.
what is a context clue?
The definition of the word that may be in the nearby, maybe nearby.
Okay, that's part of the explanation. But what do we use context clues for?
To know a word's meaning.
That's
Another
right.
word.
To know a word's meaning that we don't know. That's correct. Okay, so we use the words that are around that word to help us understand the meaning. Okay, very good, Adito. Thank you. All right, so let's go back to our notes. Okay. Now I'm going to give you a couple of minutes because I'm going to write down the rest of the words for you. So you can write with me. Put these in your notebook, the literary terms for the week. I wasn't going to write this for you. I was going to make you go back and write it from what we discussed in the video, but I decided to go ahead and put it for you because now that you have classes all day, it's a little bit different. I know that you have more homework, so you will write this in your notebook, and this is for everyone. This is not by choice. You must write these. These are your literary terms for the week, so everyone must write. Okay? This is not optional. And these are the definitions that we just discussed. Just like when we're at school and I hit the wrong key, I'm doing it on this one too. All right. I'll give you a few minutes to write. If you do not finish, you can always go back and watch the video. You can screenshot the words. You can take a picture. You can do anything you like, but make sure that you list these in your notebook so that you have them to review. All right, so there are 6 words this week for your literary terms. Again, visualize is when we imagine in our mind the characters, events, or setting. The point of view tells what the narrator, the person telling the story, thinks or feels. The first person narrator is the person telling the story, and he is a character in the story using words like I, me, my, or mine to describe himself when he speaks. Realistic fiction is a made-up story that could have happened in real life. It has realistic people like you and me. It has realistic places like places that we go and and events, things that actually could happen. Flashback, when an author takes you back to an event that happened in the past. Remember the boy in our story and how he was remembering what happened when he was 9 years old? And then the author explains what happens when he was 9. This is flashback. And context clues, when we use the words around a word to understand the meaning of a word you don't know. We read what's around it to help us understand. Okay? All right. Now, I have lots of hands up. I'm going to see if these are questions. Please, if you do not have a question, put your hand down. Okay. Thank you. Mayan, what's your question?
Miss Amanda, I already wrote the literary terms in my notebook.
Okay, that's great, honey. Farida, what's your question?
Oh, I just wanted to say that Jemima said in the WhatsApp group that she's in the waiting room.
Okay, I've let them in.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to move on. You can come back to this, screenshot it, take a picture, or watch the video again to help you study and understand the words for the week. Okay. We're going to move on to grammar. All right. So please, I know that you all want to finish and probably are still writing, and I'm sorry, but we have to move on for time so that we have enough time to finish. Okay. So please, we're going to get our language arts textbook next. Language arts textbook, language arts practice book, and again, you will write in your notebook, okay? All right, so 3, English notebook, your copybook, your language arts practice book, and your language arts textbook, okay? All right, I'm going to save this for you. I will post this for you. Let me save it now. I will post it for you on Smart School. So you can just open the document if you like to copy. Put that in here. Grade 4. All right. There we go. Okay. So I'm going to remove this and we're going to move on to the grammar. Tahir, what's your question?
The practice book or textbook?
Both. Both. We need both. Textbook, practice book, and English notebook. Okay? All right. So yesterday we talked about adjectives that compare. We talked about how when we are comparing two things, we use ER. And we talked about how when we are comparing more than two things, we use EST. Okay? We talked about both, how ER is used to compare two things and EST is used to compare more than two things. Okay? Now we're going to talk about how to spell, with the spelling rules that are used for spelling adjectives that compare. When you add the ER and the EST, how do you spell the words? Okay? These rules are going to sound familiar to you because we use the same rules when we are adding ed to the past tense of verbs. All right, so we have 3 rules. 1, when an adjective ends in a consonant and y, we change y to I, and before we add er or est. What's your question, Leanne? Hello, Leanne. Okay. When we have an adjective that ends in a consonant and y, like happy, the consonant is P, ends in the letter Y, we change Y to I before we add ER or before we add EST. So happier or happiest, we change the Y to I. When an adjective ends in final E, we drop the E before we add ER or EST. Okay, we drop the E. We take the E off before we add ER or EST. Otherwise, we would have 2 E's. Nice, we take the final E off before we add ER or EST. So nicer, remove 1 E, add ER. Nicest, remove 1 E, add EST. Nicest. The third rule is when an adjective has a single vowel before a final consonant. Like in the word big. There's 1 vowel before 1 consonant. 1 vowel before 1 consonant. So we double the final consonant before we add ER or EST. Big becomes biggest. Bigger would become bigger with 2 G's, okay? So again, there are 3 rules. Change the Y to I when there is a consonant and the letter Y before you add ER or EST. When an adjective ends in E, drop the E before you add ER or EST. And when there is a single vowel before, please close your camera, when there is a single vowel before a single consonant, the last consonant, the last word letter is a consonant, and there's 1 of each, 1 vowel, 1 consonant, we double the consonant before we add EST, okay? All right, so in your notebooks for today, you will write today's date, January 11th, 2021, and write the title of the lesson, Spelling Adjectives That Compare. Spelling adjectives that compare. Sorry, I dropped my water. Did you hear? Okay, so now this is the optional part. Everybody needs to write the date and the title of the lesson, Spelling Adjectives That Compare. The optional part is to write what is in the rule box. Okay, it's up to you. I'm not collecting your notebooks, so you can choose to study from your textbook, or you can choose to study from writing it in your notebook. I personally recommend that you write it in your notebook. Writing it down helps you to remember, okay? So if it was me and I was a student, I would write this box in my notebook, okay? Under the date and the title. All right, let's move down. You can come back to this. You can screenshot it. You can take a picture. You can watch the video again, okay, if you want to write it in your notebook. All right, let's go down to the guided practice at the bottom. Yes, Yusuf. Yes, Yusuf.
What is this page?
This is page 274.
Thank you.
274. You know, you guys, we do these lessons in order. So you can just put a piece of paper or a pencil or anything in your book, and it'll help you find the page every time. And put a little bookmark in your book. Okay, and that way you can flip to the pages easily when you start your classes. Because they are in order in the book, and we go in the same order as the book. So it's easier to help you find. You can just put any little bookmark. Okay, all right. Let's take a look at the guided practice at the bottom. Read number 1 for me, please. Go ahead, Yusuf. Read number 1 for us.
My uncle is jollier than my father.
Okay, which word is the adjective that compares in that sentence?
Jollier.
Jollier, right. And jollier comes from what word? What word did we change to make jollier? We have IER at the end. So what did we change?
Jolly.
Exactly, that's exactly correct. Jolly. Jollier comes from the word jolly because we change the Y to I and add ER. Excellent, Yusuf. All right, next. I want to hear from people who I have not heard from. Okay, I'm going to start calling down the list. People raise your hand and participate. Iad, read number 2, please.
Today is hotter than yesterday.
Okay, today is hotter than yesterday. Which word is the adjective that compares?
Hotter.
Hotter, right. What word does it come from?
Hot.
Hot, correct. Very good. All right. Thank you, Iad. Okay, Jada, how about you? Number 3, please.
Number 3.
Hmm?
Okay. A turtle is
Tortilla. It's called tortilla. The L's are silent.
okay. Is thinner than a pancake. Thinner.
Thinner, right. Thinner is the adjective that compares. What word does thinner come from?
Thinner.
Thinner is the adjective that compares. What's the root word? What did we change to make thinner? What word did we change?
We put er the end.
Okay. If you notice thin has, let's look at it together. I'll pull it up for you. Thinner comes from the word thin, which ends in one vowel and one consonant. So we double the final consonant. That's why we have 2 N's before we add ER. So thinner
Okay.
comes from the word thin. Okay?
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, honey. All right, Jumana, how about you? Number 4. And Abdurrahman, you can do number 5. Jumana,
Yes.
number 4.
Okay.
Do you have the page, Jumana?
No, because I didn't. Because I don't have the book. But I opened it right now.
Okay, I'm going to go on to someone else. Okay, you guys have to be ready. You had your hand raised to answer. So you guys need to be ready when I call on you to answer. And we announced the page before. All right, Abdurrahman, how about you do number 4 for us?
Okay. The squirrel is the tamest one in the yard.
Okay, which word is the adjective that compares?
Tamest.
Tamest, right. And what word does tamest come from?
Tame.
That's correct. Very good. It comes from the word tame. That squirrel is the tamest one in the yard. We take the final E off of tame and then we add EST. Very good, Abdurrahman. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. How about you, Tia? Can you read number 5 for us, please? Hello, Tia.
Hello, Miss Amanda.
Good morning, honey. Can you read number 5 for us?
Yes. He was the
Hungriest?
hungriest of all my cousins.
Okay, what does hungriest come from? What word?
Hungry.
That's right. Hungry, we take the Y, we change it to
And
I, and we add EST. Hungry, correct. Very good, honey. Thank you. All right. Let's move on to the next page, page 275. 275. Okay, just 1 second. Always showing you the answers. I know you're looking. We're all waiting to see the answers. I'm going to blur the screen for you. Okay, number 6. Read number 6 for me, please. Let's see, who has been very quiet today? Ed, how about you? Number 6.
No, that was the loveliest picnic of all.
That was the loveliest picnic of all. Okay?
Okay.
What is the word? Which word is the adjective that compares?
Loveliest.
Loveliest. Okay. And what does loveliest come from? What word does loveliest come from?
Picnic.
Sorry?
Picnic.
No, honey. The loveliest. You told me the adjective that compares is loveliest, right? Which
Yes.
word did we change to make loveliest? What's the
Lovely.
root word, the base word?
Lovely.
That's right. Lovely. Very good. Okay. Lovely. Lovely ends in Y. So we change the Y to I, and we add, sorry, lovely ends in Y. We change the Y to I before we add EST. Okay, let's do a couple more, and I'll open that a little bit more so you can see it better. Number 7. Number 7. Okay, let's see. Again, looking for voices I have not heard. People who are sleeping at the bottom of our list. All right, Farah, how about you? Number 7.
Yes.
Can you read number 7?
Yes, sure. Falls Park is closer to my house than Bedford Park.
Okay. Paul,
Um,
all right. It's
yeah.
close. What's the adjective that compares?
It compares like Falls Park to Bedford Park.
All right, it's comparing two things. What's the adjective?
What's the adjective?
The adjective that compares. What's the adjective? Which word is comparing?
Falls and Bedford.
No, honey, I'm not asking you what's being compared. I'm asking you which word is the adjective that compares. Which one is doing the comparing? What's the adjective? Remember, we add ER or EST to our adjective.
ER or EST.
Uh-huh. Look at your sentence.
Closer.
Right, closer. And which word is the root word of closer?
Close.
That's right. Very good. All right. Let's take a look. Okay, remember, you need to raise your hand to participate. Don't just sit and listen. You have to raise your hand to answer questions. All right. Sorry, 1 second. Let me pull this out without giving away the other answers. It's a little bit blurry today, I'm sorry. I think it'll be better if we can pull it out. Not much better. Okay, so closer is from the word close. We remove the final E and we add ER. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Number 8. Leela, can you do number 8, please? Hello, Leela. Leela, are you there?
Yes,
Hi, dear. Can you read number 8 for us?
yes. The playground was flatter than the shell.
That's it. Okay, which word? That's okay. Which word is the adjective that compares?
Flatter.
Flatter, right. And which word does flatter come from? The word flatter, what does it come from?
Flat.
Flat. That's exactly right, honey. Flat. Flat ends in one vowel, letter A, and one consonant, letter T. So we double that T before we add ER or EST. That's correct, dear. Okay, very good. All right, next. Number 9. Let's see, whose voice did I not hear? Who's not raising their hand to participate? Omar, how about number 9, please?
Hello.
Hello, Omar. Number 9, please.
The stream was the widest one in the town.
Okay, which word is the adjective that compares?
Widest.
Widest, and it comes from the word?
Wide.
Wide. Very good, honey. That's right. Widest comes from wide. We drop the final E before we add EST. Thank you, Omar. Okay. Any voices? Basil. Basil, number 10, please.
Okay. The guests were the friendliest people I have ever met. Friendliest.
Friendliest, yes. And friendliest comes from?
Friend.
Okay. The base word is friend, but what did we change? What word did we change to make friendliest?
We put I-E-S.
And that's right. We changed what letter to I? What letter did we change to I? Think about our
S.
three rules. Remember, we change letter Y, friendly. We change letter Y to I before we add EST. So the root word of friendliest is friendly. That's right, honey. Okay. All right. Let's move on now to page 58 in your language arts practice workbook. Page 58 in the language arts practice workbook. Everybody grab your book, please. Page 58, language arts practice workbook. Okay, remember the 3 rules. We change Y to I before we add EST. We drop the final E before we add EST or ER. And we double the final consonant after a single vowel when there's one vowel, one consonant before we add ER or EST. Okay. While you guys are getting your books ready, I want to remind you that you have to attend the meeting on time for your attendance to be counted. Okay, you have to attend on time for your attendance to be counted. All right. Let me see, let's get any voice that I haven't heard today. Okay, this is page 58. I announced the page. Page 58. All right, ISO, can you read number 1 for us, please? Hello, ISO. ISO, are you there? Okay. Guys, it's important to be ready to answer when you're called on. All right. Reem, how about you read number 1?
I'm so sorry. I was getting the book.
1 second, Reem. Let's let the... Okay, ISO, I'm going to let Reem do the first one while you get ready, and I'll let you do number 2. Reem, go ahead,
Okay,
number 1.
can you tell me page what?
Page 58. Remember, I told you guys it's very important to stay caught up with us so that you're not falling behind. All right, Reem, go ahead. Number 1, please.
Rhode Island is the smallest of all the smallest and right small.
That's correct. Very good, honey. The adjective that compares in our sentence is smallest, and it comes from the word small. Okay? Smallest, and it comes from the word small. All right, number 2, ISO.
Alaska is the biggest of all the states. Biggest. We will make it. We will make it a big. Okay.
I'm sorry, say it again. Your voice cut out. What should I underline? What's the adjective that compares?
Underline biggest and write big.
That's right. Underline biggest, and we write big. We double the G before we add EST because it ends in 1 vowel and 1 consonant. Thank you. Okay, let's see. Jada, can you do number 3 for us?
Okay. North
North Carolina. That's where I